Okay, so this video is covering what qualified physiotherapists can expect for the Crisis at Christmas service.
Okay, so what is expected of me?
Okay, so your duty is really to run the clinic. So when you get to the centre that you're going to be working in that day, set it up, organise how you're going to let people know that you're there. There's somebody called a service liaison volunteer who may well meet you when you get to the centre, and their job is to work as a kind of go-between between you and the wider centre. You might find that you're taken to a small room that's maybe not quite in the centre of the building that you're in, so it's really important that the communication between where you are and where the guests are is fluid and clear. It's important that you advertise and market the service. Maybe the students that who are with you can go out and let the guests know what to expect. And obviously you have a responsibility to supervise the students who are with you if they're going to do any clinical work.
What does that involve?
Okay, so a bit like when you have students on placement, at the end of the day, any student who's working with you, it's your HCPC registration that is responsible for their care and the work that they do. So you must make sure that you're happy with what your student's doing. If they're a new student who's in first year, then you might want them to just shadow you. They might not be very confident to do much clinical work. If they're a third year who's not far off from qualifying, they may be more confident, but again, you have to be confident in their ability. So just get them to run things by you before they do them and get them to take on whatever responsibilities they feel able to do.
Will I get a break?
Well, you can, yes, of course. It's your job to make sure that you take enough breaks to be able to deal with the hard work that you're doing that day. So make sure that you allow maybe a coffee break, a lunch break. You may go as a team, shut the service for a little while and go and have lunch together, or you may decide to take breaks one at a time. It's really up to you, I would say.
What are my responsibilities? Okay,
so in the time that you're there, we would expect you to perhaps assess patients, treat them if you think there's a treatment that's appropriate for the time you have. Lots of health promotion, so health promotion, for example, telling people what physiotherapists can do, empowering them and encouraging them to access mainstream year-round if you think that would be something that would be good for them. Most London physiotherapy services still require GP registration rather than our self-referral. So if the person you meet doesn't have a GP, a good place to start would be encouraging them to register with a GP. We have a list of GP practices that are welcoming to homeless people, so that's somewhere you could get information for that kind of thing.
Okay. And what can we expect from our guests?
So the guests that you meet will be really varied. You'll meet men and women. There's one centre that is only for women, so some of you might be sent there. You'll meet a mixture of ages. Unfortunately, homeless people tend to die younger than people who are housed, so you might find that although you're seeing conditions that older people have, they may still be in the bodies of younger people. A lot of people have mental health problems, addiction problems, and profound physical problems that sometimes are quite surprising to see not in a hospital setting. Obviously you just need to make the best of the time that you have available with that individual to try and help them as best you can.
So I suppose the take-home message is that you can't fix someone in a week, you're not going to fix all their problems, but to promote the things that they can sign up to outside of the week of crisis.
Absolutely. It's not a service to replace mainstream physiotherapy, it's a service to try and help homeless people understand what physios can do and decide for themselves whether that's something that they want to seek year round.